Hi Moglets, well this is a kind of a weird day. We just did the special program for Genshin, now we're doing it for Star Rail. They do have a pretty similar structure here, but Star Rail did a pretty unique thing at the beginning, kind of like a news broadcast, sort of overviewing the special program to come. Like World 8 for Simulated Universe, super excited to learn more about that. Some other stuff that I assume has to do with the story, a little preview for one of the new characters, Argenti. When I first saw him in like the drip marketing a few days ago, I was like, this does not look like a Huo Huo verse character at all. I do like his design. I think he's a very interesting character. He just doesn't feel like a Huo Huo verse character really. Not sure exactly how to explain how I feel. And I think that's Gwen doing a TikTok live stream probably. I'm not sure. Yes, Huo Huo as well. Very adorable. Reminds me a lot of Sucrose, I guess mostly in design, with the green hair and the sort of timid expressions. I will try and release this video on the same day and we'll have the redemption codes down there, but it's gonna be pretty close since I really wanted to focus on the Genshin one first, since it was the one that was delayed after all. So yeah, the main story will be continuing. Looks like it'll be focusing on at least one of the new characters. Apparently will be a social media manager for Gwen and like managing her posts or something. I have no idea. Looks a little bit like Instagram maybe. I mean, it's definitely different. But I have to say, which this might be weird because me being like a social media slash like YouTuber content creator, I've never cared much for like simulations of stuff like that, like managing social medias, maybe because I have to do that in real life already. But yeah, it seems to be some sort of event. I mean, it does look interesting. Of course I'm going to play it. I mean, of course I got to play it. We get a event light cone as well. And yeah, this actually does seem to be the main event of this version. And now we're moving on to the characters, starting with Huo Huo, I guess. That's what Owl Dude said, so I'm gonna go with Huo Huo. Also kind of reminds me of Hu Tao with like the ghosts and the paper demon things. Wind Abundance character. Okay, so we're getting another abundance. I mean, we got Links pretty recently. That was a very necessary abundance because it was like our second 4-star. Now we're getting another 5-star. She's apparently cursed, has very bad luck, is a magnet for evil. Let's see if her kit is actually reflective of that. She actually has a pretty interesting skill set. So her basic attack is a normal basic attack. She goes up and hits someone, but with her skill, it heals one target and adjacent targets. So you can potentially heal up to 3 at once, which will probably make the order in which you put your units more important. It's pretty funny because when I was playing with Topaz the other day, I mentioned I needed to have Clara at one side because enemies are going to be targeting her. In her case, you kind of have to predict who's going to be getting hit the most or damaged the most or needs healing the most. Pretty interesting. And then her ultimate not only is an attack boost, but an energy regeneration. She is literally the healer buffer I was hoping for last video. That is amazing. She probably doesn't heal as much as Lacha, but you know, when you don't need that much healing, oh man, she might pair really well with Fushuan as well. But basically, after using her skills, she will obtain something called Sacrifice Life, indicated by those 2 little dots above her HP bar. And that's basically HP regen when a character's turn begins or if they use their ultimate. So I guess it could serve as an emergency heal. Her technique is pretty interesting as well. Basically, when you use the technique and go into battle, enemies have a chance to be horror struck, which will reduce their attack by 25% for 2 turns. I mean, on second thought, it's not that crazy good because most harder content has its first wave where there's not really, you know, super dangerous enemies that need their attack reduced, but it's there. Overall though, first impression wise, she sounds amazing. Definitely a more offensive healer. Again, it doesn't seem like she's going to be able to heal as much as someone like Lacha, but providing energy and attack boost, I think that's going to be great. I really love her kit. Next up, we're checking out Hanya, a 4-star. She does be looking slightly zombie-like. Physical Harmony. Harmony is buffer. I'm interested. She apparently can read the minds of the Mara struck via dreams. Sounds pretty wild. Talking about her kit, her basic attack doesn't seem like anything special, just attacks with physical. Her skill is apparently a debuff, which is interesting as a Harmony character, called a Burden State. Allies will inflict increased damage on those inflicted with the Burden State. Oh, also skill point regeneration if you attack an enemy enough times marked with this state. That's really interesting. And then her ultimate is a speed and attack buff for 1 unit. Of course, it's all going to come down to how much she is increasing speed and attack for this single ally. Generally, you only have 1 real DPS in a team anyway, so it being for a single target isn't that bad, but it should be a good amount of speed and attack. We'll have to wait and see for that. Her technique is an attacking technique. You'll start the battle with a random enemy having this burden state already. But yeah, the burden state seems pretty powerful. Increased damage, recovering a skill point. Overall, a fine addition to the Harmony characters. Again, it's going to come down to the actual values. Oh, and here we go. New Cavern of Corrosion. Do we get the follow-up set now? They don't say what it is? Well, I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Yeah, next up, we're looking at what I assume is the Phase 2 5-star, Argenti from the Knights of Beauty. I mean, he's so cliche there with his red rose. It's kind of adorable. But anyway, another physical character, which I was actually kind of surprised about. I would have definitely thought he's fire before physical, but also erudition. So I guess we're going to see some big AoE stuff here. Again, basic attack being very basic, single target attack. Skill is physical damage to all enemies. Not a shocker. His ultimate also hits all enemies, but apparently does more damage the more energy he has used. I mean, that is pretty interesting. You can apparently choose how much energy his ultimate uses, instead of just every other character using all of their energy. They don't go into extreme detail here, but apparently he has a talent that allows him to regenerate extra energy, which I guess is important for his kit. And he can also give himself crit rate. Units that give themselves crit rate are always kind of nice. They're just a lot easier and more pleasant to build. Apparently, the more enemies there are, the faster he regenerates energy. So, I mean, he's an erudition character. Of course, he's already going to be like best for AoE situations, which thankfully in Star Rail is very common even for hard content. His out of battle technique will daze enemies, and if you attack those dazed enemies, will regenerate more of his energy. So yeah, he could probably fit pretty well with Huo Huo, you know, because she's also like, he just seems to be very energy hungry. Like you just want him to have energy all the time. Moving on to banners, in phase 1 we have Huo Huo alone with the 3 older characters, and then in phase 2 we have Argenti and the new 4-star character. Personally, I would have preferred the new 4-star with Huo Huo, I guess just because I am looking forward to her more than Argenti. I mean, Argenti's cool too. I'm sure he's strong, but I do find myself like appreciating supports more than DPSs these days, just because it feels like there's a bit of an imbalance there. Just like almost every new 5-star is a DPS now. Oh, interesting. We're having a Silver Wolf rerun. You know, maybe I'll just go for Silver Wolf to get some of the new 4-stars. We will of course have light cone banners for the new characters as well. We're going to be getting new voice lines for, I guess, all characters in the party setup screen, and it looks like even when you're ascending them, there will also be a guest book for all the characters that have visited the Express Forgotten Hall update. Okay, basically when you're fighting in Forgotten Hall, you can just press the retry button instead of leaving the entire thing and having to reselect all your characters, which is pretty cool. Like if you just had bad RNG or whatever, you could just try the fight again instead of having to reselect all your characters. Oh, and that's really important. If you restart in the second half, you don't have to do the first half again. That's nice. Your combat lineup will be remembered, because at least like the first 6 stages, it doesn't really matter which characters you select. If they're all level 80, like you will get through it. I'm not sure exactly how that's going to work because Forgotten Hall is always changing. So it might just be for that period, or possibly it'll just remember the teams regardless and you'll have to swap them out if the types don't match up anymore. But however it works, it's better than it was before. Besides that, we have another Gift of Odyssey, very cool free 10 pull. There were some things during the redemption code, but since I was watching this after it live streamed, I kind of just skipped over the codes because usually there's nothing important there, but apparently they're talking about Boulder Town Super League here, which is an event, Stellar Shadow Seeker, which is a photo restoration event. And also on the redemption code screen, this is where they talk about Simulated Universe World 8. Of course, 2 new Simulated Universe sets. Unfortunately, here they also don't tell you what the sets actually do. We'll definitely check it out when 1.5 launches though. And then double rewards for the mats and relics coming back. Regardless, I really love Simulated Universe, so every new edition is very welcome. But that was pretty much it for the version 1.5 special program. I would say main thing I'm looking forward to is Huo Huo. There have been many moments where I've wanted a more offensive healer like her that actually give buffs as well, so that's really nice. Other than that, new relic sets, new Simulated Universe, all very exciting stuff. Make sure to tell me what you think though in the comments down below. Leaving a like or subscribing to the channel if you enjoy is always greatly appreciated as well. Thanks, as always, for watching, and until next time.